everybody!
Hello!
My name is Shannon.
I'm Alyssa.
Welcome back to another episode of B Movie Bash!
B Movie Bash!
This week, we are reviewing a movie.
Yes, we are.
And I'm very excited about
Yes.
it, even though I know nothing about it except that a man that looks like my husband was in it.
Yes.
And it's bad.
I have to say this. I don't know how to say it without being a creep.
Okay.
Because I told you, I was like I see him, and I was like, oh my gosh, Tony's in this movie. Holy crap. The rest of the movie, I was like, hello, Calhoun. And then I was like, no, it's Tony. It's Tony. So it was just like, he's just being this badass and doing all these badass things. It doesn't sound like Tony at all. And I was just like, yeah. And then he would like make this face, and I'm like, oh, it's Tony.
Yeah.
Like, that's my left side right there.
Left side needs to stay over there, okay?
On the left side.
You can have it, but like, stop it.
Exactly. I was like, this is not okay. But they did it on purpose to be like, I'm the cool guy, you know? And so it was just,
Okay.
Anyway, so my eyes are watering, and my allergies are acting up too, so like I'm just really
I'm glad you have a blanket of cat here.
It's all good. It's good. I took 2 Claritins, so hopefully I'm going to be okay. But,
just want to paint a picture for everybody. We're our new studio for right now. It's literally 2 chairs and a TV tray stand in the closet with a blanket over the doors. So we're just in like a little fort, and it's real cute. But hey, it sounds good.
It sounds a lot better.
And that is the point. There's no echo here, so you're welcome.
Yes. All right. Well, are you ready for this movie?
Let's dive in.
Okay, we are going to be talking about 2014's dollar store movie, Blood Moon.
Okay.
Yes, okay. And I most of these movies that I have bought, I bought specifically from the cover, and then like I double checked the back, just like if I wasn't sure if it was a horror movie or not, I would check the back, and like some are like very obviously, you know, like
derailed.
Yeah. They're horror movies, or like they're an attempt at a horror movie and stuff. And,
right.
And this one, I grabbed it. I saw the werewolf hand and was immediately like, okay. And I took it home.
Why did I not think werewolf when you said Blood Moon?
I don't know.
That's like saying this movie's called like Moon, Wolf, and okay. Anyway, cool.
Well, yes. So I took it home. I didn't read the back of it, nothing. I literally put it on to watch it, and I realized it was a Western.
Right.
So
I didn't. Wait, it's a werewolf Western?
It's a werewolf Western.
I mean, I guess. Yep. Why not?
Well, I mean, I guess werewolf is the incorrect term here. I'm going to keep referring it to a werewolf, but they kept referring to it as a Native American skinwalker.
Oh, okay.
So
it's like a shapeshifter.
But it was very clearly a wolf the whole time. So like it was like
I guess that makes more sense with the Western then. Yeah. Because I don't think anyone has ever said the words werewolf Western.
Yeah, exactly.
Before ever.
Yeah.
That's not
So
until now.
Yes. So I don't know what to tell you about my feelings about this movie.
Okay.
Yet.
Do you know what it is rated? Do I know?
No, I don't. 1 second. Okay, it is just rated TVMA. So.
Oh, I meant like the rating, like the score.
4.6 out of 10.
Okay.
Okay. Personally, I'm going to tell you later about that.
Oh, okay. So wait, was this a made-for-TV movie?
I don't think so.
But it's TV mature.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. This is the cover, though. Okay.
Oh.
But I did not take in the Western buildings whatsoever.
No,
I just saw the werewolf hand and the wolfy face, and I was like, yep, this is it. Like, you know, this, I just thought that was just like a town. Like, it's whatever, you know? I didn't even for a moment.
Werewolf Western.
Yep. Didn't even.
There's like spaghetti Westerns, and now there's werewolf Westerns.
Werewolf Westerns, yes. So, there are quite a few people in this movie that have been in things. Okay. There's this guy who plays one of the outlaw brothers. He was in Les Mis.
Oh.
He was just one of the French friends that was like, revolution! Like,
Gotcha.
That's, you know, so he wasn't a huge character, but he was one of the guys that made me cry. So, there's Calhoun that looks extremely different in, like, everything else he's been in since then, but he's been in
and this
97
is my husband?
things. Yes, Calhoun is Tony, right? He's been in Gentleman Jack. He's a voice actor for Elden Ring. He's in The Witcher. Like, yeah, he's
who is he in The Witcher?
King Foltest.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
Yep. He was in Gunpowder for a couple episodes. He's been in a lot of things.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I was like,
what are you doing over here, man?
Right? I know, but I also had to remind me. Oh, he was in The Woman in Black.
What?
And stuff. Yeah. And
Okay.
yeah, so he's like been in things, right?
Was he like the driver, maybe?
I don't know. Let me see. He was someone named Fisher.
Ah, of course.
I've only watched The Woman in Black that one time. So.
Okay. That was great. That was great.
I still, to this day, one of my favorite stories to tell about like watching movies with everybody is the time that when we were watching the fourth Harry Potter movie, and Jessie was like, Cedric Diggory's my favorite,
Cedric
and we
is
all just
great. And we were like,
she's like,
oh.
I think he's my favorite character. We all just straightened and kind of sighed at each other. Like, it was, yep, that's one of the greatest stories ever to tell. But like, also one of the other like outlaw brothers was in The Mummy, 1999 classic, you know, like
Wow.
The Mummy, and yeah, so there's big name people in here.
Okay.
Like I was honestly pretty surprised. But some of the people I'm like, I don't even know who any of them are.
Yeah.
Like, but it's okay. It was, you know, it's in their earlier films or they only did like a few and then they were done acting and like,
Yeah.
so yeah. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about Blood Moon. So, a stagecoach of travelers, a gunslinger, and two outlaws arrive in a deserted mining town lit by the glow of a reddish full moon. As their worlds collide, they are hunted by a beast that only appears as on the night of a blood moon. But that is not correct.
Okay.
It's not correct. It's not only on a blood moon, it's just on a full moon. They say it in the movie that like it happens every full moon, but also skinwalkers can turn whenever they want to.
Yeah.
So honestly, there's only like
You need to do their research.
I know. Yeah, I can't tell you too much just yet.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Okay.
But yes. So we open up to a Texas's Colorado, 1887. A cowboy stands above his horse, Pete. And I was like, Pete. You know? And I was expecting Pete to be the best actor in the movie. Okay. He did pretty good. But the poor thing's leg is broken. It's on the ground.
Oh, no!
It's neighing in pain.
Pete!
And yeah, the horse can't ride on it. It's you know, once a horse breaks its leg, it's
donezo.
It's pretty donezo, yeah.
Aww.
And Calhoun says, Pete, old buddy, it's been a good time with you, but I have to carry on, and I can't keep seeing you in pain like this. So he pulls out his gun, and he shoots him in the head, and then kind of keeps talking to him still about how it's like, it's getting dark out. I need to find some place to camp for the night and stuff. And you can tell that he doesn't have a whole ton of emotion. He's just very much a cowboy. This is matter of fact.
But I feel like they should be like, my fucking horse just died. Like, that's their, like, companion.
Yeah,
you
you
know?
could still see that he was, like, upset to do it, but it was just,
Moving on.
I'm a cowboy. Like, just, you
I'm
know.
gonna look out into the sunset and move on.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
So, in Pine Flats, Colorado, a man is sitting down to eat. He's sitting in the old saloon, okay? And he's got one of those pianos that, like plays itself, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, that was kind of fun. That's fun, you know? And I was sitting there thinking, I don't really like Westerns. But then as I was watching it, I was like, you know, I don't dislike Westerns. I just don't watch them.
Yeah, there's like two that I care about, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, when I see it on, I'm like, Tombstone.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
I know. I'm like, I
But,
just,
yeah,
I not
I don't
that I'm
seek out Westerns.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, I might want to watch more Westerns because this one was just anyway.
Just instilled that in
Yeah.
you.
And so also I found out how adorable. So you know how in America fucking weebs like me exist and we just want to go to Japan and dress up and cosplay and all that shit, right?
Yeah. Is
In
the reverse
Japan-
true?
Yeah, in Japan, there are weebs that love Westerns and they dress up like cowboys and they have shootouts and like just
Can you imagine a little Japanese boy in a cowboy?
how cute is that, right? Like, yeah.
That's funny.
Right? So I think that's adorable. Anyway, so he's sitting there, he's eating dinner, and he hears a howl outside, right? And he's like, oh, these damn coyotes, I chased them off yesterday. And I was like, well, hungry animals do
They will come back. Yeah.
So, you know, you ain't have to keep doing it, right? So he goes out after them, and he's got a double barrel shotgun, and he fires it twice into the night, just randomly to, you know,
Ward 'em
just
off.
ward them off and stuff. And he doesn't hear anything after a minute, but he does hear the horses kind of neighing in the stable, and he's like, oh. So he goes to go check on him. And he's talking to the horses, and he's telling them that it's all right now, everybody, you just need to rest up and stuff. He's talking about how he's like, well, the stagecoach is coming in tomorrow, and you guys need to rest up because it's 40 miles to Lassiter, and like or they switch out the horses when they get like halfway kind of a thing, or like so far and stuff, right? And just, it's 40 miles and blah, blah, blah. And he hears more growling. And annoyed, he turns around and, like, goes to go see what it is. He's pretty sure it's coyotes and stuff. But then something out of the darkness swipes at him and just slashes him across the throat, right? And he falls to the ground, just blood spurting everywhere, right? And more howls in the night as we see Calhoun sitting by the fire as he picks up his own rifle and lays it across his lap, but he lowers his hat and just goes to bed, right? Yep. So he's ready, but he's sleepy. So the next day, in Lassiter, Colorado, 2 masked men with the whole bandanas over the face,
of course.
Classic, walk in to rob a bank, okay? And they walk in and they immediately tell the banker and the banker assistant, the clerk, I'm just going to call him the clerk. Yeah, the teller, yeah. To, put the money in the bags and stuff, and just, it goes on for a second while they're kind of gathering up the money and stuff. Honestly, they probably got away with, I want to say, maybe a couple $100, which is a ton of money back then. Yeah. But, they were getting shot at, is all I'm saying. Things are happening. Anyway, but the one, Hank, okay, Jeb's the younger brother, Hank's the older brother, and I didn't know their names for a good long portion of the movie because, they just called them the Norton brothers and stuff, right? Yeah. But Hank, the older brother, goes, "Keep her powder dry, Jeb." Super deep, which that's not how he sounds in The Mummy. So I was like, whoa. Why was this a decision?
Why did we choose this?
Yeah, why was this a choice,
That's funny.
And because of his voice, too, I didn't realize that he was saying Jeb. I was like,
what words?
What words? And after that, I turned on the subtitles because I thought if he's going to be in the movie, Smart. Yeah. So they're kind of going along. They get the money in the bags. They go to grab the bag, or the older brother grabs the bags. Hank grabs the bags and goes out. And the banker pulls out his rifle, okay? Or not a rifle, handgun, okay?
Okay.
And Jeb shoots him, hits him right in the hand. Okay, so he drops the gun and it's just just grabbing his hand and stuff. And they go to run out. There's people now just walking past because it's this, literally one road in this entire fucking town and all the buildings are next to each other. They are just walking along, not even realizing that a bank robbery is going on because there's no one in the bank and the bank is literally, 5 foot by 5 foot. So it's, and he's all yelling at everybody he's like, "What are you looking at? You want to get shot? Walk away," kind of a thing, just, Yes. And then the clerk comes running up with a rifle, and Jeb turns, shoots him right in the eye, and he goes down. Oh. And then Jeb and Hank get on their horses, and they start riding out. Well, the marshal, I think his name was Wade.
Okay.
I just call him the marshal. Comes at, he's across the street, directly across the street from the bank. Here's the shots fired. A little too late because honestly the first one was fired and then a minute later the second one was fired, and it was the second guy, but I mean it's also the West, so he was probably just like, what the fuck is going on? Anyway,
who's shooting over here?
Right. So then he hears the second shot, goes running out into the street, sees the Norton brothers running off, and starts firing after him. Well, the banker comes out bleeding from his hand with his other, he's got the gun in his other hand, fires a couple of times, and I was like, man, they don't make men like that anymore, do they? He's super old too. He's just out there firing after these guys and stuff. But my favorite too is there's also just people walking on the street and they're like bang, 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 bang.
West was wild,
It was wild, and I would have been
Wild West.
Yeah, just
it's wild.
Just a lot of nonsense going on, right? So he runs across over to the banker. The doctor comes running up from down the street. Not that he's important.
But he does.
But he comes running up and he's like, "Oh my gosh." And basically it's just for them to talk about how he was like, "I heard them calling each other by their names and stuff." And he said, "Jeb, that means they're the Norton brothers." And they were like, "Well,
no one else is named Jeb."
It's exactly what the doctor said. He was like, "Now that's not entirely true. My nephew's name is Jeb, and your brother's name is Jeb." He was like, "So? Yeah, the Norton brothers."
I know it.
And so it's just, they've been robbing banks for the last few weeks, going from town to town robbing banks, and they've just
They're
so
notorious.
he knew he was next kind of a thing, and just yada yada. Anyway.
Okay.
So the marshal is kind of talking about how the two were going to need fresh horses because they were riding super hard and super fast, and he was like, "Well, the closest place to get fresh horses, Pine Flats."
Right.
Which is 40 fucking miles away, but okay. So, next, a stagecoach is riding down the road. Inside is a newly met couple, Jake and Sarah Norman. He's the deputy marshal of Lassiter. Okay. There's a priest, father, I don't remember his name. Marie, a widower, but we don't know she's a widower just yet, but she's a widower. A British reporter writing about the Wild West.
Wouldn't she just be a widow?
Yeah, she would be a widow. My bad.
It's fine. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, anyway, so she's a widow. And Marie's sitting there because Jake and Sarah are just like...
lustful.
Like, just looking into each other's eyes, just like lovey-dovey eyes, just newlywed. And Marie asks if Sarah and Jake are recently married and stuff. She's like, is that a new ring on your finger? And she's like, yeah, it is. And Sarah explains that they met 3 weeks ago.
Oh.
And they got to talking, and now they're married and stuff. And she was like, or Marie goes, you must be some talker, mister, you know? And she starts showing off all of her rings too. Like, she's got like a whole bunch of them on her fingers.
Oh, so
and stuff.
she is a widow.
No, she just like has tons of pretty rings and stuff. And the priest goes, oh, is that Mexican silver? And she's like, yes, they were gifts from my late husband and stuff after he bought me this saloon, blah, blah, blah. Oh. And I was like, I would love to get a gift after being given a gift. That would be amazing. Like, just
give me a gift for my gift.
Right? And the priest is like, you run a saloon? Because I know what a saloon is, you know? Right. Yeah. But like, anyway. And she was just like, oh, well, my husband told me that, you know, they would take care of me, kind of a thing. So she technically owns it. I don't know if she ran it, but she owned it. Gotcha. So I'm guessing later she did a little bit, or at least worked there part-time or something. Like, she knows things about saloons and stuff. Anyway.
Okay.
So she was like, yeah, my husband said that they would take care of me, kind of a thing. And the reporter peeps up then that he's with a British accent, that he's asking Jake if he can ask him a few questions about being a marshal and stuff. And he's like, yeah, sure. And the first question goes, how many men have you shot? And Jake is like, what?
Let me check my tally.
Right? Okay. And Sarah was just like, the priest is all... we can't be talking about all these frivolous things around my God-fearing soul. The sin of just being near you people, you know. And Sarah was like, oh, we don't need to talk about this right now. He's on his honeymoon. Like, just, right. You know, so she's... Yeah, converts it. So there's a bit more talking, and that's when we find out that Marie is a widow. Gosh, why can't I say
she killed her husband, is what you're saying.
No, he died 3 years ago. They were together for like 11 years and stuff, and she was like, it's more than most people get. And she's like, and I miss him every day, and I still call myself Mrs. his last name. I don't remember her last name and stuff, which I guess back then they would just go back to their maiden name so they could get remarried and stuff. And
I mean, I feel like people do that nowadays too.
But I mean, if my husband died, I would still probably go by...
Died, okay, yeah, that's different.
Like, divorce is different. If Zach died, I would
fuck
still
you,
be...
I'm taking my name back.
Right? Like, I don't know.
Okay, so, death is different. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, a bit more talking, and we see Calhoun standing in the road, right? And the stagecoach is just definitely not stopping, and he's trying to, like, hail him down and stuff, and they're like, oh, we're not stopping for some dumb cowboy and stuff, so he pulls out his pistol, and he fires a couple of times in the air. So, of course, they pull over. Why? I don't know. I would have kept riding. Like, what's he gonna do? Shoot at you? Like,
I mean, maybe.
Anyway.
So I mean, if it startled the horses, though, too.
I guess.
I don't
know. They pull up, and Jake immediately is like, gun, you know, because he's marshal.
Right.
And Marie pulls out this little ivory handle pea shooter that's like maybe as big as my 2 fingers. It's an adorable little thing, okay? So she tells the priest not to worry, she'll protect him, right? Because he's immediately like, oh no, we're gonna get robbed or something, you know. And the stagecoach pulls over, and Calhoun starts talking that he doesn't want to rob him, he just wants a ride. And you wouldn't have stopped for me either way. And they were like, well, we can give you a ride. It's $6. And the other stagecoach driver was like, well, you charge the other guys $3. And he's like, shut up, and stuff. And so Calhoun was like, I'll give you $1 now and the rest when I get to Lassiter. And they were like, okay, deal. So he tosses him a coin, gets in the cab, but there's not enough room. So he's sitting on the floor in between their legs, just like,
that's weird.
Mm-hmm. But there's no room for him anywhere else. So he's just sitting there, but he doesn't mind. So
does anybody else mind?
I guess not. Okay. I guess they're just fine with it. Okay. So anyway, so they're sitting there, and Jake asks him, where are you from, stranger? And Calhoun replies, I'd tell you, but you've never heard of it.
How would you know?
Right?
Okay.
That was the moment that I decided that the writing in this movie sucked.
Okay.
Okay. I was immediately like, okay, this movie sucks. I'm prepared for the worst. Let's fucking go. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, back in Lassiter, the marshal hangs up a wanted poster sign for the Norton brothers before making his way into a shop. I didn't get the woman's name, but it's just her shop. She just owns it. Anyway, a not Native American woman she's half Japanese, half British.
Oh boy.
And
they
normally,
couldn't wrangle up
anyone?
of the
Probably
correct
not,
race?
because honestly, the way they were talking about Native Americans through part of this movie, I was like, I'm sure they were all offended.
I know, when you first started talking about skinwalkers, I was like, do we need to, like, put a warning
Yeah,
here?
maybe? I don't know. Like, it's just...
It's not us. It's the movie.
It's
We're
the movie.
sorry, okay?
But yeah, so I mean, the first glance you look at her, I was like, oh, she is. And then I realized who she was, and I was like, she's Japanese. Like, what? Like, she's half Japanese. Like, she was born in Japan and raised in England. I had to look that part up. But she is on The Walking Dead.
Oh.
So,
Nice.
Yep, in the very later seasons. But she's playing poker with a couple of other, I think one of them was actually possibly Native American. You only barely get to glance at him. He's not in the movie, like, at all. He's just there playing. And then this other guy who's supposed to be Native American looks way more Native American than she does, but I also believe that he's not Native American. I think he just has
They're like
tannish
brown
skin.
person.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's not brown. I'm pretty sure he's white. He just has brownish skin. Like, he's just
tan.
tan. Yeah. And with graying hair and everything. And I'm just like, okay. Anyway, so they're playing, and she catches him cheating. He calls her a half-breed bitch, and they start fighting and stuff, you know. And so I guess she's only half Native American. And I was like, okay, I could kind of believe that. But at the same time, okay. And as a person who I don't believe that if the character doesn't specifically call for a specific race for the reason of the movie, it doesn't matter who's playing them.
No, it's like the Black Hermione being in the stage play.
Yeah,
Who cares?
I don't really care. It's the stage play.
Yeah.
She clearly was the best actress of it. My problem is them wanting to go back and retcon it when they specifically write in the book that she's white.
Yeah.
So, it's...
But for this... She's supposed to be
Native American. Yeah. So that's my thing is that I'm like, if that is the point of, I mean, not the point of your character, but like that is a big plot point to who your character is, then you should probably be the ethnicity that you are.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just, I don't know. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. Yeah. So anyway, though, so they are arguing about cheating and yada yada, and they start, like, he lunges at her and she flips the table over towards him and stuff, and the other Native American guy grabs him and starts wrestling him out, and he's calling at her Antahiti or something. I didn't quite catch how they spelled it.
Okay.
Anyway, I guess it means witch in Navajo, but I don't think it means witch in Navajo because I looked it up and it was not a word. Huh. And so maybe I was spelling it wrong because I didn't quite catch how they said it and stuff. So I don't know.
He said a slur.
He was calling her a witch. Yeah. And she is very clearly drunk as well. She's just got a whiskey bottle that she just keeps, like, chugging from and stuff. And the marshal comes over and asks her if she's causing trouble again. And she's like, oh, have a drink. And he's like, there's a saloon down the way if you want to drink and stuff. And she's like, I don't have to go down there to drink. And the woman, too, owner of the store, was just like, yeah, you can't tell her what to do. This is my store and stuff. And he's like, oh, I better not catch you selling her whiskey anymore, kind of a thing. And she was like, how dare you? Who are you to talk to me like that? And he was like, I have every right to talk to you like that. And she's like, what is, like, up your butt, kind of a thing, you know? Clearly, he's just the marshal that, like, everybody gets along with in town because, I mean, there's only, like, what, 30 people in town, kind of a thing. So, like, everybody gets along and stuff. And he was just like, well, I just got back from telling the bank clerk's wife that she's now a widow. And they were like, oh, yeah. Anyway, chug. So he asks the store owner if she's got some coffee. And she's like, yeah, let me get you some. And he's like, get 2 cups. Because he's going to try to sober up Black Deer.
Oh.
Her name is Black Deer.
Okay.
So she says, and I apologize for this, but she says in the most get 'em pale face kind of like...
Oh boy. Like Peter Pan.
Yeah, but... Obviously, she's being sarcastic in this moment. Oh, okay. So she's not like, she doesn't talk like this through the whole movie. She's clearly being like...
a caricature of herself.
Yeah. And she was like, Navajo hate coffee. Navajo prefer fire water. Tastes good, you know? And the marshal...
if you're going to treat me like that, then I'm going to be that.
Exactly, yeah. And so the marshal's just like, I don't care if I can drink the coffee. And she's like, this is disgusting. He's like, I don't care, drink it. I need you to sober up. And she was like, why? And he's like, I'm rounding up a posse because we're going to go after the Norton brothers and stuff. And she was like, well, maybe I'll go for $10 and a bottle of whiskey. And he's like, okay, done, but sober up. Let's go. And then she was like, he's like, we're going to be leaving tonight. And she's like, no, I haven't even told you about my vision dream from last night. And I was like, oh, so she's also a vision seer and stuff. I'm like, if she was a witch, that kind of makes sense because, you know, she's a seer and stuff. But like, she was like an evil Navajo spirit that kills in the light of the full moon and stuff. And he's like, skinwalkers, they're not real. They're just legend and stuff. And she was like, they are real, just kind of going back and forth. And that a skinwalker is a Navajo warrior banished from their tribe for learning the forbidden secret of shape-shifting. And it's almost the blood moon when skinwalkers are at their strongest. So clearly, they don't have to have a blood moon just to be a skinwalker.
Right.
Okay, so the synopsis is wrong right there.
Okay.
So, anyway. And, I mean, clearly, I'm sure the full moon is slightly empowering to them, but whatever. It's just, they're at their strongest, so... he tells her that he has duties to perform, and if she's not going to join him, he's going to ride out himself. And she agrees to go with him, but she was like, do you have any silver bullets? And he was like, on my salary? No. I can't afford them.
Who has those?
And he was like, why? And she goes, it was a question that had to be asked. And then walked out the door. And I was like, who are you?
Just give an answer.
Just,
why do you gotta,
like, we all fucking know how to
Drama.
like, whatever. So, anyway, she's like, I'll meet you in an hour, okay? So the stagecoach pulls into Pine Flats, the driver joking that it's mud flats because it's just mud from like
one end to the other.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, we're going to take a break here for a few hours, stretch our legs, get something to eat, change out the horses and stuff. And he calls out to Charlie, who is the guy from earlier in the movie that was killed. Okay. And that we didn't know his name in the beginning of the movie. So his name is Charlie. And he's calling out to him, just being like, Charlie, get those biscuits ready. Your people are here and stuff. And just like, blah, blah, blah. Well, the town is absolutely deserted, okay? There's all these buildings around and stuff. There's the saloon, there's the livery, there's all these other buildings. And they were like, man, what is this place? Because everyone's going into the saloon, and the priest stops, and he talks to the stagecoach driver, and he's like, I think I'll stand outside. I've never been in a saloon in my life and stuff. And he was like, well, this isn't much of a saloon anymore. Charlie's the only person that lives in town ever since the silver mines closed. Everybody left, and he's the only one who stayed to run the stagecoach. So,
okay.
And so he goes, oh, well, okay, I guess I can go inside then. If there's no working girls, I don't have to be worried, right? Mm-hmm. They're kind of getting out and talking. They're all just kind of stretching their legs. And Calhoun and Marie are just kind of like, snarky comment, snarky comment, snarky comment, snarky comment. And I'm just like, Calhoun and Marie, like, just, yes, I'm here. End game. Let's do this, right? Okay. And they just keep giving these little, like, eyebrow little, like, waggles at each other. And I'm like, I like this. This is great, you know. Anyway, so they keep calling out and they can't find Charlie. And they're in the saloon. They're looking around. They can clearly see that, like, the lanterns are all lit. And they're like, this crazy man, why did he leave the lanterns lit all day? Like, it's the middle of the day. There's all this sun around. So dark in the saloon. I don't know what they're talking about. But they're calling out. Charlie's not answering. Calhoun and Jake look at each other. And then they look at the stagecoach driver and they're like, we need to go out looking. kind of a thing. Because obviously someone who's not responding. Yeah. And they're like, maybe he just can't hear us. And he's like, can't hear the only people coming into town for hours. Yeah. Calling his name. Pretty sure he's out there, right? So they spread out. Everybody else kind of stays inside, just like getting the fire ready and stuff, or like because there's a fireplace and they're just getting, cozy for a bit. So they spread out looking for the missing Charlie, and Calhoun finds him after a couple of minutes. His body had been dragged into the trees, okay? And they're looking at him. Calhoun says that the liver's been torn out. And Jake wants to know how he knows that, asking if he's a doctor. And Calhoun completely ignores him, finding a tuft of fur on the ground. And the stagecoach driver was like, was it a grizzly? And he was like, nope, this ain't grizzly hair and stuff. And he's like, they're both sniffing it. Like,
what do you know?
What does a grizzly smell like? Yeah, I'm like, maybe
versus a wolf or versus a whatever.
Maybe Calhoun, because he looks like a fucking weirdo, would know weird things, but like, just the way he carries himself, all about him, I'm just like, who are you, stranger? Like, just, Calhoun's not even your real name. I know it. Like, anyway. So, yeah, they're like, it's probably not a grizzly. And Calhoun says that he's familiar with the Indian legends and stuff. And Jake is like, anyway, it's probably a pack of wolves. Just, like they probably just got hungry and caught him while he was down, kind of a thing, And they decide to bury him before the women can see him, like, completely torn up because fragile.
Yes.
Right? And
I wouldn't want to see that.
I wouldn't want to see that either, honestly.
I am fragile.
Right? So Calhoun finds Charlie's shotgun also laying on the ground, and so he grabs it, realizes that it's still loaded, that he never even got a chance to fire. Right?
Wow.
So, which obviously we saw. But yeah. They were like, what could have done this that he didn't even get a chance to fire at, you know? And they go inside, tell the others that Charlie's dead. They go back out, dig a hole, and bury him, and they go to give him a small funeral, right? And the preacher goes to give him a eulogy, and he was like, we may not have known, and they were like, Charlie so-and-so, yeah, and they were like, preacher inside. He was like, yes, Charlie so-and-so, but he thinks he sees something in the trees, and they're all like, oh, you're getting freaked out now because a man's dead, kind of a thing, you know? Yeah. And he was like, right, I'm sure, I'm just...
Of course.
You know? And he goes to go back to talking when he's shot through the forehead. Yes.
Okay.
Right? Everyone starts screaming. Bullets are flying. All the men are pulling out their guns and firing in all directions, kind of a thing, except Calhoun and Jake are obviously like, where's that coming from and stuff, right? Well, also, one of the stagecoach drivers gets shot. The other one pulls out his gun, starts firing a couple of times, and he gets shot. And so they're all like huddled up against trees and everything, trying to... you know, but they realize they're being shot at from two different directions, so they're kind of pinned in.
The brothers.
The brothers, yes.
The brothers.
So, the Norton brothers order them to drop their guns, and they eventually agree because they're like, what else are we gonna do? Because...
Except there's so fucking many of you.
Right? I know, but only two of them know how to fire a gun, so... So they eventually agree. They make the reporter go and collect everybody's guns and stuff, and he is, like, holding them, like this, like, across his arms and stuff. Like, he's not even no, he's got his hands up still because he doesn't want to get shot for holding the guns. And like, he's just like, ah. It's just his was kind of fun. Henry, was that his name? May have been Henry, something like that. So the younger of the Norton brothers, Jeb, comes up and he takes Calhoun's gun, and Hank is like, everybody get inside, right, with his super fucking deep voice. It was ridiculous. So they go inside. Jeb starts immediately being a creep to Sarah and is like already grabbing at her arm and pulling her closer and like starting to undo her dress because, you know, they've got the million buttons and everything.
Sir.
And Jake is like, don't you fucking touch my wife. And he's like, I'm gonna fucking touch your wife. And so Jake punches him in the face.
Good.
And Jeb, like a bitch, pulls out his gun instead of like
fighting like a man.
Yeah. Oh, and Jake called him a bastard. And Jeb was like, nobody calls me a bastard. Not even my brother calls me a bastard. And they're just,
okay.
Right? And just really stupid and stuff. But then that's when they realize that he has a deputy badge, okay? And they're like, ooh, we're just going to shoot you right now and stuff. And he goes, if you kill me, every sheriff, like, in all of the West is going to come after you. All right, because I'm a cop. Like, they're, you know, they don't like cop killers and everything. So they're like, yeah, we're just going to shoot you. But Jake is like, oh, you wouldn't be so brave if I had a gun too, kind of a thing. And so Jeb pulls out a gun, starts like shoving it at him. He's like, go ahead, take it. I'll fucking shoot you now, kind of a thing and stuff, right? And Calhoun goes, I'll take it. And Marie's like,
give me the gun.
Yeah. He's like, I'll have a shootout with you instead, kind of a thing. And Hank is like super grumpy, tells him to get on with it and just start shooting everybody. But the reporter, trying to ease the tension, is just like, these guns are really heavy. Can I put them down, please? And Hank tells him to go outside and put the guns in a barrel.
Okay.
I guess to keep them away from everybody else.
Harder to get to.
But harder for you to get to. I don't fucking know.
Okay.
Anyway, but he's like, well, you come back in here, because if you're gone, I'm going to start shooting everybody. And so he does. He goes back out. Or he goes in, puts the guns away. And that kind of lifts the moment a little bit. And Hank starts asking who the funeral was for out back, right? And they were like, oh, it was the guy that ran the place and stuff, and something got him. And they were like, something? What something? And Calhoun's like, I don't know, something. And they were like,
fucking Western.
I know. Just, I don't know. But the two of them kind of are looking a little spooked now. They're just like, what else is here? You know, who else is here? Kind of a thing, you know? And Jeb starts saying, what if it was old Mose? I had to look up who Old Mose was, okay? Old Mose was a massive grizzly bear, okay? Oh. 10 feet tall, 1,500 pounds, and over a 30-year reign was killing cattle and deer and just
this is a real thing?
A real thing.
And we're supposed to know this?
I guess.
We live in the Rockies and we don't know this.
I didn't know this, yeah. But his hide is now hanging up somewhere in California and stuff. But okay. Anyway, but yeah, he had also killed 5 men that had gone out to hunt him and had killed them. He was, and everybody was like terrified of him because he was smart, fast, and his strength was unmatched. And they said that he was evil as hell.
His stats were real high.
Yeah, real high stats, right? And I was just like, this would be a real fun D&D monster to have. But like, yeah,
Western D&D campaign.
that would be way fun.
Okay.
But yeah, so they're just going on. But I spent like, I had to pause the movie to like look this up, and I spent a good like 30 minutes looking this up.
They don't explain it in the movie?
No,
they were
just
like,
call them
old Moe's.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I wasn't even sure I had like heard it correctly.
I just picture like an old miner with a shovel.
Yeah.
Like, that's old Moe's.
But no, he was just this big fucking grizzly bear. But he was alive for like 30 years, hunting people's cattle and stuff.
I wonder what the lifespan. We don't need to look it up.
I know, but I was like,
is that a lot?
I know. And anyway, so they're arguing for a minute that the two brothers start arguing back and forth about how old Moe's is like 200 miles away from here. Like, he's been terrorizing this part of the state, and like he hasn't even come over here, kind of a thing. And Marie's just like, well, maybe he learned how to ride a donkey. But
okay.
So the writing was so bad.
None of that tells me this is a bear.
Right?
Like,
none of it.
No.
I know, that's when she was like, maybe he learned how to ride a donkey. I was like,
ha ha ha.
uh-huh. And so that's when I rewound it. I was like, what did they say? I Googled it.
Who is this?
I had a lot of fun reading up on it, honestly.
Nice.
So,
now you know something.
now I do. I learned. Yep. So the brothers think that she's being extra sassy and threaten to shoot her right there. And that's when the reporter comes back in, and Sarah starts coughing, asking for a glass of water. So the two brothers agree to get her some water, and Hank steps outside to dip it in a big old water fucking barrel.
Like a rain barrel, maybe?
Like,
Delicious.
Right? And that's when he starts hearing growling. So he steps back in thinking that maybe it is a grizzly bear kind of a thing. But he's extra spooked and like super, super grumpy about everything now. And Jeb is like, what is your problem, man? What is going on? And he's like, don't fucking worry about it. Right? And Jeb is also like inside talking about, oh man, maybe it was this, maybe it was coyotes, maybe it was a pack of wolves, like all these, like just going off for a second about all the other things that it could be. And Calhoun says that whatever it is, it has a taste for humans now, and it's probably watching them right now. Okay.
Good.
Marie makes another snarky comment. I don't remember what it was. And then Hank comes back in, and that's when he starts like getting really like huffy and stuff. And he's like, we need to leave, but we're starving and we need to switch the horses and stuff, right? And so he tells the girls to get into the kitchen, make them some dinner. And I was like, wow. What? If you look at either of them, they don't look like they know how to cook. They look like they've had people cook for them. Yeah. So why would you assume they would know how to cook? They're both dressed way too nicely.
Like they had maids.
For them. Kind of a thing. Like, I don't know how he thought. Anyway. And then he tells Jeb to also go check the kitchen, make sure that that Charlie didn't hide any guns in the kitchen so that the girls can't come back out with a gun or anything, right? They also find some rope, and Marie has to tie up Calhoun and Jake because they're obviously the gunslingers and the more threatening males, because the reporter, he's just not. I'm sorry, he's also like, he looks like he's 19. He just looks like a little baby. Yeah. So like, he does not seem like a threat at all, which is also really funny because 19-year-olds to us nowadays, yeah, they're kind of still babies, but they could beat the shit out of any 40-year-old. Like, I mean, depending on.
Not Western 40-year-olds.
Not Western 40-year-olds. This is exactly true, yes.
Yeah.
But I asked Zach one time, I was like, did you ever think that you could beat up Mark? You know, like, just, did you ever look at Mark and think, I could take him? And he goes, no, he'd kick my ass every time. Yeah. Like, he's like, he used to box. Like,
his job is to be tough.
Yeah, and I was like, but you did, not taekwondo, what is it? One of the fighting sports, you know?
Yeah.
I don't remember what one
is.
He's
buff.
Yeah, but he hasn't done it in years and stuff. But, like, yeah, he was just like, no, he'd still kick my ass. Like, he's like, never, I would never try to fight him. Anyway, so the women go into the kitchen to cook something up. Back in Lassiter, Blackdeer and the marshal are starting to make their way out and stuff. And she's explaining that she's bringing white ash with her. She went and got some from one of the elders from her tribe and stuff. And that you have to shoot a skinwalker with a silver bullet and then sprinkle the white ash over them. Because you have to shoot them in the heart with the silver bullet. Okay. But that won't kill them. That's just going to slow them down. Okay. And the white ash is what you need to send them to the land of the dead.
Okay.
And I'm just like, okay, that's fine. Right. Anyway, she says that she had another vision on the way over here of the two of them being together under the blood moon, and that death was reaching out for them. Oh. And he tells her that she's being superstitious and this is nonsense and it's time to go.
Right? Do you want my help or don't you, sir?
But Also, he thinks that she's a little bit of a drunk, so
I mean,
you know.
that's fair.
So there's that and stuff. But she gets a little grumpy and huffy with him, but they decide to go out anyway. Most of their like arguments don't matter, so I didn't bother writing them down. So like,
yeah,
that's fair. Anyway, back in Pine Flats again, they send the reporter out again to get more water and ask Calhoun if he's ever been to Wichita, because they keep looking at him, like they just keep like, do I know you, before? Mister? Yeah, do I know you, kind of a thing. And he's like, I don't. Okay, but they ask him, have you ever been to Wichita? Because they came across a gunslinger a few years ago that looks just like him. And he replies, I look like a lot of people. And I fucking died because he does look like Tony.
That's
so,
true.
like, there's...
like, you got me there.
I was like, yup.
You do.
Mm-hmm. You did. You did
got
get
one
me
of
there.
those faces.
Yep. So... But at this point in the movie, okay, by now, I decided... I'm having a good time.
Okay.
I'm enjoying this movie. Okay. The writing is terrible. Their dialogue is awful, but you can tell that they are doing their damn best to give these lines. Yeah, they're darndest to give these lines the best way they can, you know. A lot of the lines are crappy, but they're doing the cowboy hat down, barely looking at you from under the rim kind of a thing. Marie's doing the hands on the hips, kind of swaying, just like sassy.
Saloon lady.
Yeah, like they're just fucking kicking ass. I was having a good time.
They're checking all the boxes of a Western.
And I was just like, I'm having fun. Like, at this point, I was very much like...
Oh, no, at this point.
I'm having fun.
Do we go back downhill on the roller coaster?
We will see.
Okay.
So, well, I know, but you will see.
We will see.
And they start going on to this fucking exposition. It's the same thing.
Yeah, expedition of words.
Yep. And talking about how they knew a gunslinger, that he's super fast, but he used to be a preacher, and he left the church because a couple of bushwhackers murdered his family.
Oh.
And I was like, were priests allowed to have families back then? Were preachers allowed to?
Like his birth family, probably.
Possibly?
Because I don't think they're supposed to
that's
procreate.
What I thought.
So it's probably like his brothers and sisters and parents.
But I also feel like a man wouldn't get this pissy about, like, brothers. I mean, I don't know.
There's only 30 people in the town.
I guess that's true. So, like, yeah.
Who else do you have?
Right.
Maybe he just had a real vengeful heart all along.
Maybe.
And he was like, I need God. And then he was like, no God!
Yeah, possibly.
Kill everybody.
But yeah, they're just going on about how he was a preacher and he left the church because his family was murdered, and he was so angry with God that he offered up his mortal soul to get revenge, and Satan made him the fastest gunslinger in the West for it. Wow. Right? He hunted down the bushwhackers and he killed them himself. Jeb pulls out his guns then. He's got both of them on Calhoun. And he was just like, so how fast are you? Kind of a thing. And I was just like, Marie, better hope you're not.
Guns. We're talking about guns.
Guns, yes.
Actual guns, not metaphorical guns.
And Calhoun's like, he goes, how do you think, or why do you think I'm so fast? Kind of a thing. And Jeb goes, I don't know. Something, though. Fucking Westerns, man, because you know
all
they
of
would
these
talk like
words
that too.
Are just so like, I'm not gonna say anything for real. I'm just gonna have an ellipses at the end of every sentence.
Exactly. I just was like, okay,
everything's a mystery.
Yep. Anyway, but Calhoun is like, there's an easy way to find out, and basically like, cash me outside, how about that, kind of a thing. And
I love that you wrote that down in your notes.
I did.
You totally did. No, I saw you read it though.
That's effectively like, because it was just back and forth for a good second, and I was like, that's summed it up pretty good.
Anyway, callback.
The reporter comes back in then and startles the two of the brothers so fucking bad because they weren't expecting him to come back in. And I was like, you sent him out there. Like,
they were in the moment.
Yes. Black Deer and the marshal stopped to investigate some tracks. How she saw them from on horseback, I don't know.
That's what she's here for.
Yeah, yes, right? So she sees the direction that they're headed in, but she's also kind of like wobbly, and she keeps touching her head and stuff. And he was like, when was the last time you ate? And she's like, well, this morning I caught a rabbit and I skinned it and I ate it. And he goes, you forgot to cook it? And she was like, damn it. Like, just, so she clearly hasn't eaten all day. Like, just, you know, she's just been drinking and stuff.
Yeah, I ate some whiskey.
Yep.
It was delicious.
He was like, you can go back if you're sick. And she was like, no, it's fine. We need to get back on the trail and stuff, right? And
do they not have, like, rations with them? Of some sort?
I don't know.
Pull out my jerky?
Right?
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, so they get back on the trail and stuff, and you can clearly tell that they have a good relationship, even though he's giving her a hard time. Like, he's joking with her and stuff, and just, So Sarah and Marie are cooking away in the kitchen, and Marie glances over to see Sarah tucking a knife into her, the sleeve of her dress, okay? And that's when Hank walks in, right? Ooh. So Marie immediately starts trying to distract him and just being like, so, big man, where you from? Just kind of like, you know, trying to get his attention and stuff. And he was like, I don't remember what he said exactly, but he goes, oh, but I also know when you're trying to steal a knife, and he grabs Sarah's wrist, right? And yanks her hand back, and she's holding a spoon. Oh. And so he was like, she's like, sugar in your coffee? And he was like, fine, 2, kind of thing. And she's like, okay. But he didn't feel the knife because she tucked it up her sleeve pretty far. But he goes to speak again when they hear a really loud howling outside.
Oh, boy.
So he goes out to see that the pale moon is actually starting to turn slightly red. Not pink, but just like a light red. Okay. And Calhoun says that howling is whatever killed Charlie, and that it's a skinwalker. Right. And Jeb is like, what? No, it's fucking not, right? Hank also gets mad, telling him that there's no such thing, and Calhoun's like, go outside and find out.
Right.
You know?
Catch it outside.
Yeah. So Calhoun and Jake are very clearly realizing that they can rile up the 2 brothers by talking about this shit, right? They get real
flustered real quick.
Exactly, yeah. So Jake is like, oh, reporter boy, Henry. Yeah, you should write about skinwalkers. That'll spook all those wig wearers in London. And Jeb is like talking about how there was a skinwalker living in these parts that took 7 Navajo warriors to take him down. And in his gut, they found 5 outlaws. Oh, Calhoun was saying that. No, it was Jake. Why did I write Jeb? Anyway, and I was just like, how do you be like, yep, that's a different guy, that's a different guy, right? That's a different guy.
Is it like derailed where he just swallows them whole? Maybe, and it's like, here's a body, here's a body.
Like, maybe, I don't know, because
I don't know how it works.
Maybe they just found like 5 different livers in his stomach, and they were like, yep, there we go, that's 5 different men, right? Anyway, they're just trying to rile the brothers up, and they both think that he's totally full of shit, and that if there is an Injun running around, is what they said, they're gonna kill him, right? Yeah. And so the women come out, start setting down dinner, and Marie telling him to eat it while it's hot if he's alive for it, right? Because Hank's gonna go outside and like take a look around and stuff, right? So Hank tells his brother, oh no, if he comes back and he's tall, dark, and hairy, to shoot him, because it ain't him.
Thank you for that word of wisdom, sir.
Appreciate it, Hank. Yeah. Jeb looks pretty flustered, but he holds up his rifle, readying himself, kind of thing. Hank heads outside, peeking around buildings and stuff, walking down alleyways. You can see the sun through the trees, but they have a filter over the camera to make it look like it's nighttime, but you can see the sun.
I mean, is it supposed to be really bright moonlight?
But no, because they keep showing the moon in a different part, but the trees are like, where the sun is there. And I was like, you guys couldn't
like
even
the shadows that are happening.
Yeah, you couldn't even attempted to edit out the sun just in those shots.
Or go to a different, like a shaded area.
Yeah, like anything. Anyway, okay. He's walking around outside the building, and he walks down an alleyway, blah, blah, blah. He comes back into the saloon, and he's like, we need to eat, and we need to leave right now. And they're all like, why? What's going on? And he's like, the bodies of the guys we shot outside are gone. So they had left them there, and now they're not there. Dun, dun, dun. Right? And so the women are like, oh my goodness, and stuff, right? And they start scarfing down their food, and Sarah asks if she can take some water over to Jake and to Calhoun, which they agree to, which I think is weird because they're planning on killing them, so I don't know. So Marie starts immediately distracting the brothers, asking them all these questions, just kind of flirting and stuff, talking about how they should, if they're leaving, they should head down to Mexico instead, because the girls in Mexico love white men and stuff. They love gringos and everything, you know?
That's nice.
And Sarah pulls the knife out of her sleeve, slips it to Jake, and then goes to give Calhoun some water and stuff. And they're just strategically, you know, cutting themselves free over here and yada yada. And Jeb decides with what little time they have left, instead of eating, that he's going to take Sarah upstairs.
Oh, no.
Right? Hank argues that he's going to go first. And I'm like, you guys are wanting to leave.
Yeah. Like, hey, let's get out of here quickly because people are being taken, and
so let's stop and essay a couple people. Like, are you kidding me? Get out of there. Get out of there. Take your money.
Essay, I get it.
And go. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I'm using the safe words.
Yes.
But it Anyway, so they're grabbing at Sarah, and she's just kind of like, oh my gosh, no, kind of a thing. And Marie is just like, excuse me? You are going to take that little 21-year-old whatever over a real woman? And obviously she's trying to protect Sarah because, and I was like, Marie, Marie,
Mama Bear.
Oh, I love you, Marie. Right, just like, she was my favorite. Absolute, like, Calhoun underneath Marie. Marie was my favorite. Nice. Marie is up at the top. Marie is a queen, okay? Not appreciated enough, Marie. I love Marie. Anyway, so she starts undoing the top buttons of her dress and stuff, right? And they let Sarah go because they're watching her and everything. And she's starting to strip, telling them, ask if this is what they really like, and them going slow and stuff. And Hank goes, yeah, sure, I do like that, but I'm still going to beat the shit out of you. And I was like, okay. You don't have to say it. We know it. But, like,
jeez.
She's like, you're a romantic, and sits on the bar. And she lifts her leg all the way up into the air so that she can show off her stockings going up and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, she's done this before. Anyway, and the reporter out of fucking nowhere is like, they are not going to believe this back in London. Like, and I'm like, what? Shut up.
Yes.
Shut up.
Let them just stop.
Henry
just stop.
Wesley, whoever you are, shut up. Like, this whole scene, I was just, like, hyped for because you can see the guys, they're sawing themselves out of the rope. This, like, ridiculously thin rope anyway that they probably could have just, like, hulked out of. Anyway, Hank yells at the reporter, Wesley, Henry, whoever, to go outside and to get the guns while Marie's stripping because they're going to leave right after they're done doing what they're doing, right? Mm-hmm. So he leaves and Marie continues her stripping. She gets Jeb to come a little bit closer and then does the not too close kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, you seem like you have done this before. And she's like, well, when you run a saloon, you learn that sometimes you got to entertain the boys and other times you got to surprise them. And she whips out her pea shooter and shoots him in the forehead and he goes down, right? Hank, yanks or yells and he pulls up his pistol and Calhoun takes the knife, flings it right at his hand, stabbing in his hand, causing him to drop his gun. Sarah, holding a tea kettle, cracks him in the head with it.
Wow.
And Jake jumps up, grabs one of the rifles, cracks him in the head again so that he's unconscious, right?
Or just shoot him.
Because
you were going to get him anyway.
I would have done that.
Wow, in all of the mufuddle, I just shot him and oh no.
I hate when they're like, oh no, we need to keep him alive. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Does he have useful information?
Yep.
No?
Nope.
Fuck him.
Right.
He was about to go upstairs and take advantage of a young girl and also
your
this
wife,
person
your
and
wife
beat
and
her.
This woman, yeah.
And he's awful.
And he's killed many other people. Shoot him. Yep. He's useless to everybody.
Death penalty.
Fucking kill him. Yep. It's the Wild West. Like, nobody would fucking be upset.
He's going to be vengeful because of his brother.
Yep.
And so, how about don't deal with that?
Right.
How about?
Yep. I hate when they're like, no, we need to take him to trial. I'm like, this is the Wild West. Nobody fucking cares. Like,
it is wild.
It is wild. Like, it frustrates the hell out of me when they do things like that in, like, zombie movies and things like that. They're like, no, we have to hold them accountable.
We're civilized people. I'm like, they're fucking zombies.
Yes. No. Like, I get so mad every time they're walking along and they're like, there's like 4 zombies behind a chain link fence. Let's leave them there and get them on the way back. No.
Kill them.
Now. Like, if it takes you 2 minutes to kill them.
Yeah.
Take those 2
Don't waste your
minutes.
ammo. Stab them in the head. But kill them.
There was just so many times.
They will come back and they will eat your limbs.
They'll somehow get out and they'll be the ones that kill off the character that everybody loved.
Yeah.
Like,
that baby? Dead.
Dead.
All because of you.
Because you wouldn't take those 2 extra fucking minutes.
Idiot.
Fucking idiot.
Kill the zombies.
Right?
Always.
Anyway, so Jake and Sarah embrace and they're just like, oh my goodness, oh my love. Just, Calhoun hurries over to Marie, who very clearly is tearing up a little bit because she's probably never actually killed a man before, Yeah. They're just kind of like, he's holding her and stuff and she's kind of looking at him and he was like, that was really mighty brave of you. And she was like, well, I'm glad it worked. I only had the 1 bullet and stuff.
I was wondering why she didn't just shoot the other brother.
Right?
But that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, I was like, oh, they're clearly falling for each other, at least having some kind of a flame, something, whatever it is. I'm here for it.
There's a spark.
I straight up, and I'm here for it. So they hear knocking at the door, and they think, they're like, it's the reporter. He's trying to come back inside, right? Obviously, he probably heard all this stuff going on and was like, what's happening, right? But they go out there, and he is on the ground with this massive wound in his stomach, just kind of like bleeding out. But he's also like convulsing. And they're like, oh no, Henry Wesley, no. Like, just, dang it. They know his name. I don't know his name. But I'm pretty sure it's Henry.
It sounds British.
I think it was Henry.
Let's go with Henry.
So they're like, Henry, no. Right? In the same moment, okay, this kid is maybe 5'9". Okay. He's not very tall at all. Okay. So think that's a person laying on the ground, distance.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
He starts getting drug away from them, and they can't see what's dragging him. They don't see it. They don't see what's there.
Can
I know it's
skinwalkers go invisible?
No. He just starts getting drug away, and they're like, oh no. And it's not that they're like seeing him from a distance and that it's like his feet are beyond a door frame or something.
Or the bushes or something.
They're looking at him. They're right there looking at him. He's right there. Like, I mean, they are looking over like the saloon swingy doors and stuff, but they're looking over the saloon swingy doors at him. And anyway, so he starts getting drug away, and his upper half and his lower half come apart.
That's not how this works. Unless he was already cut.
Yeah.
That's not how
That's
that
not
works.
how that works. And I was like, but also that, if this skinwalker is that strong to just by dragging him, tears him apart.
That's not how gravity works.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't.
Like, I don't know, like, is there any force? I mean, there's probably, no, because
it's
your whole
just-
body would just go.
Yeah, your whole body would go. And it's not
or
that
your
he was...
arms would go.
Yeah, it's not that he was grabbing onto anything either. He was very clearly, like, dead at this point now. Like, he convulsed, started dragging, he was dead. And then he came apart. And I was like, I was sobbing. I was laughing so hard at that scene. Because the rest of the movie, I was like, this is fairly believable,
yeah.
right? For a fantastical beast, like, creature feature.
Yeah.
I can believe all of this, right? The
And
rest of the
then-
movie, I can even somewhat believe, okay? That, I was like, what
They
was
just had to
that?
throw that in
They
the
just
middle
had
and
to
be
throw
like,
that in.
remember, this is a dollar store movie.
Yeah, I don't. So they freak out. Calhoun immediately jumps out and starts firing into the darkness, telling everyone to get back inside, and goes off after it. But Marie, with her rifle, comes with him. And I was like, fucking Queen Marie. Fucking Queen Marie. Just, she's got his back. Right? Anyway, Jake and Sarah get inside because Sarah's just an innocent little thing and stuff, right? And he gets back into they're in the saloon, looking around. They're looking at the ceiling because I guess they can hear it walking around on the roof.
Oh.
I don't know. Calhoun specifically tells Marie to keep her eyes up, too. Like, keep checking the roof. Or like the roofs, because obviously if they're just looking at the ground and it comes from above. And I was like, fucking Calhoun's smart, because everybody else would just be like, where is it?
Yeah.
Where is it? You know? And he
knows.
He knows what's up. Anyway.
Literally.
Yeah. So they hear it. They hear it clambering around on the roof. So Jake hands Sarah a gun and quickly tells her how to use it, right? Because she says she's never fired one before. And so he's just like, take aim, hold yourself steady, pull the trigger. Like,
Just do it.
Just do it. And she's like, okay. And he tells her to get into the kitchen because she can lock both of the doors. And it's a smaller area. She can kind of be safer in there, kind of a thing, right? He goes upstairs to, like, search the rooms to see if the skinwalker had, like, come in through the windows and stuff, right? And they spend a good long time searching around the saloon. And the entire fucking time, this fucking bitch, Sarah, is backing up to a window.
Oh, no.
And I was like, if they didn't have the werewolf come through the window, I would have been surprised.
True.
I would have been like, ooh, break down the door. That'd be fucking hilarious,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's just, anyway. So, of course, he comes through the damn thing, smashes through the window, and grabs at her, right? But he's only got one arm around her, and she's trying to yank away, and I'm just sitting here thinking, he ripped Henry apart with nothing.
It should not be a struggle.
It shouldn't be a struggle. She should be dead.
Yeah.
She should just be, like, dead. Just exploded into atoms. Like, just nothing. There should be nothing left of her. Not even blood.
Nope.
She should just have just
Nothing.
disintegrated.
Just dissipated
Yep.
into the ether. Into atoms.
So they obviously hear her screaming and stuff. Jake is having to, like, slam into the door because she locked the doors and stuff, right? And she can't get in. So he has to shoot at the door handle to break it. And then he gets in. He runs over to grab the arm instead of shooting at him because he's trying to get it off of her first. And I'm like, I don't entirely blame her. It's mostly her with an arm around her. And there's not much to shoot at, right? So there's really not. I don't entirely blame him for that. I probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
I would have grabbed a knife and started cack. But, like, just, that's me. So...
That is you.
I would prison shank the fuck out of that thing. Anyway, so at that moment, that's obviously when Calhoun and Marie hear this going on. So they come running around and they can see through one of the windows that the wolf has Sarah. So they run back around the other side because they can see the wolf's back at that point, and they start firing at it, okay? At the same moment, Jake gets knocked the fuck back because the werewolf's fucking amazing strength that doesn't seem to obliterate Sarah into nothing.
I mean, maybe he wanted to save her.
Maybe? I don't know.
She's very
Because I'm
precious.
pissed about something later on in the movie, too.
Okay.
Anyway, he knocks Jake back, and Jake, I think, hits his head for a moment. He's pretty dazed, okay? Well, right then, Hank, the Norton brother, comes stumbling in, okay? Sees that Sarah, like, the wolf is trying to grab at Sarah again.
They didn't even tie him up?
No. They didn't have time to.
Oh my god. Yes, that's true,
But still. Yeah. So he sees what's going on, grabs Jake's rifle, and fires at the werewolf, okay? At the same time that Calhoun and Marie are firing at him, too. Okay. So he's just getting shot up in a couple of different directions. So he yanks his arm back and turns to kind of look at Calhoun and Marie, and they see that the bullet holes that they just put in him are immediately starting to heal.
Does it do, like, the spit out the bullet thing?
No.
Oh,
it just, like, starts kind
Gross.
of sealing up, right? Let's see.
You think Calhoun would be the smart one who's like, I always have a silver bullet in my pocket.
Think that
He knows all these things
right?
about freaking skinwalkers.
He's poor, though. I guess. But he can afford a $6 ride to... Anyway.
Right.
Yeah, so he manages to let Sarah go. Jake gets up, sees that Hank has the gun, smacks him in, like, he grabs it, smacks him in the face with it, grabs his head and beats him into the wall again to knock him unconscious. And I was like, he just saved your wife. Like, I know nonsense was gonna go down, but he did just, like, anyway. But Calhoun later on basically is just like, he was doing it to save himself kind of thing, because obviously the wolf would have come after him next, kind of, just blah, 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 blah.
So then they kill him?
Not yet. But that's what I said. I said right here, just fucking kill him already if you're gonna keep doing that.
You dumb
because
bitch, just
this
kill
bitch
him.
is gonna die of a brain injury way before anything else happens.
He's gonna have so many things wrong with him by the end of this.
Right. So Marie fires on the wolf a few more times as it runs off, and Calhoun chases after it, finding blood on the ground. Okay.
Why would it run away? It can't die.
I don't know. Maybe it's just like,
wound.
ow.
Fucking stop.
Yeah, like that's...
Guys. That's like a Family Guy
I'm gonna be on
moment.
my
Right
own. So Calhoun's looking. He sees that there's blood on the ground. Jake meets up with him after a moment and explains that they tied Hank up inside and that Sarah's watching him. Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Why? Oh my god!
Sarah, who's completely useless, apparently, is watching him. So
The one that he wants. Like, why would you leave her in a room with him? Oh my god.
I don't know.
Blah, 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 blah.
Black Deer and the marshal are talking to each other while sitting around a campfire.
Beach?
Yeah.
There's urgency.
I guess he decided that she needed a break or something because... Anyways, he's sitting there with a pack of cards just, like, flinging them. Like, just I don't know if he was trying to toss them into his hat because apparently, you know, like...
that's a thing, yeah.
But I didn't see the hat, so I don't know. He just
into the fire,
I guess. And we get the most asinine scene of all time. And he's asking her about the brawl she got in earlier and about how the other Native American guy was like, he called you a witch, and she was like, in my tribe, a witch heals people with herbs, and that's it. And he's like, nice try, but a skinwalker doesn't always have to be a witch, but a witch is always a skinwalker.
Oh.
So she's like,
no, I want to do my research.
I don't know. She tells him that she's only half a skinwalker.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Can you or can't you?
I don't know, right? And
I feel like there can be halfsies on that.
I don't know.
Sorry.
And I'm just like, what? At what? Like, okay, is it just because you're half Native American and half whatever else that you are? Because
white, probably.
Just, I don't know, maybe. Or is it that a skinwalker did the hanky panky with your mother, or vice versa? I don't know, because apparently women can be skinwalkers too. In like, I think they all can, but like, just so either way, at some point, kind of where you conceived while someone was a skinwalker, because that's frightening.
Yes.
I've seen what they look like in the movie.
There was no consent there, let me tell you.
Let me tell you, yep. And I know some people are into the werewolf nonsense. I am, but that's not...
It's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. Anyway, and she tells him that she's like, I'm hated by everyone, as she starts to transform because it's the blood moon, right?
That's what I was wondering. It was like, maybe she can only transform on the blood moon?
I don't think
because
so.
She's half?
I don't think so.
Then why does it matter that you're only half, bitch?
Because I think she can on the full moons all the time. I'm like, if it was just the full moons for her because she's half skinwalker, that would make sense. Because other skinwalkers can change when they want to, as far as I'm aware.
I don't know.
Like,
I feel like I should know more, but I don't.
Right? Well, I'm like, but in the lore of this, you know, I don't know. Anyway, She starts to transform, and this scene is the worst fucking thing I've seen in my life.
In your life?
In my life.
Of all, like, 45 episodes we've done so far? And your life?
Her skin starts to crack apart.
Oh, no.
As her, like, bones start to break so that she can have, like, the backwardsy leggy thingy, okay?
Sure.
But her skin is cracking apart, and her skin just starts splitting, like when you cut, like, a little hot dog in half. That starts skin.
And,
so
like,
that her
fur comes
nails,
out?
Her nails start coming out.
Ew.
And I was like, like, just, I was freaking
I mean, if they were going for horrified, I feel
Yeah,
like
I
they
was
hit the
like,
mark.
I was horrified. And again, I can handle most anything, and I'm just like, you know. This one I was like, oh, this is not okay. Like, it's just, I was like, it was done fairly well, but also poorly to the point that I was like, oh, like, just, it was bad.
Okay.
Anyway. It's gross. Anyway, so the marshal draws his gun and tells her while she's transforming that he's stopped by the gunsmith in town, and he had 3 silver bullets. Okay.
Okay.
So she turns, launching herself at him, and
why?
he fires once because she's just lost in this haze of a skinwalker, I guess.
I thought they can, like, control themselves.
I don't know the lore of this movie. They're
Sorry.
not very clear. I just...
Okay.
I don't... Because it makes some things, like, a big fucking deal, but other
Right.
things I'm just like, the things I care about...
And, like, in real life, I know that, like, some werewolves, they're like, they just go crazy. Not crazy, but they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right? Like Lupin. He didn't
Yeah,
know. He
they're
just did things.
Not in control
He
of
was a
themselves.
wolf.
Yep.
Yeah. But I feel like, from what I know about skinwalkers, it's more like, I can transform because I want to, like, hunt you down or whatever. You know, like, they're in control of it more.
Exactly. That's what I thought it was. But, like...
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't fucking know.
really, like, fuck with that also,
I know,
'cause
yeah.
It's kind of creepy.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't.
that's spooky stuff to me. Yep.
Yeah.
So he fires once and misses, and she's like punching the shit out of his face a few times. Like, just they keep making that like sound, right?
Yes.
But in the tussle, he manages to grab the bag of white ash from her neck and like yanks it off of her, and he's yelling her name a few times, and she kind of seems to come to then. And it's like, Wayne? I'm pretty sure his name was Wayne. She was like, oh no. And then jumps up and flees from him, okay?
So wait, what's the image of Skinwalker?
She
Is she like full wolf?
No, she very clearly just had like kind of the hairy-ish arms with the longer claws. Her hair was just wild, like this big mane.
She had human face?
She had a human-ish face with slightly doggish nose with bigger, like, fangs.
Okay.
So it looked like she was halfway through a transformation.
Because she's only half. That's definitely
The other skinwalkers are full wolf standing on
like
two legs.
humanoid werewolf.
Humanoid
Okay.
werewolf, yeah.
So she is half.
So she, yeah. But I was like, but she could also be in the middle of transforming still. Like, so I don't know.
Who knows?
Anyway, but she seems
Literally
to, like,
nobody.
come to her senses and flees from him, runs off into the woods, okay? And he lifts his gun to fire at her again, but realizes that he can't kill Blackdeer. He can't. So he fucking fires the 2 bullets into the air, and I don't know if it was to stop himself from, like, firing at her.
So he spent all 3 silver bullets.
Yes.
What a fucking idiot.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Also, how much did those cost?
I don't know.
Dummy?
Exactly, right? Like,
Mr. I'm a poor man.
Right? Later on in the movie, they say that the marshals make $20 a month.
Wow.
I don't know how much that is in today's times.
It seems like a lot for back then.
For back then.
Because it was like, here's a whole loaf of bread for like a cent.
Yeah.
You know?
So I don't know.
That seems like a lot.
Well, I mean, they're also like, you know, gonna die for their job.
Yeah.
So like, it's just, yeah, they should be getting paid pretty well. So Calhoun and Jake back in Pine Flats are getting the team of horses set up to take the stagecoach out of there. Honestly, it would be faster if they rode horseback, just got on the horses and fucking went.
Yeah.
Leave your shit. I don't fucking care. Let's go.
But at least in a stagecoach, you're kind of covered, I guess.
But if the horses are going...
Yeah. I don't know.
But, because you'd have to think the horses are clearly much faster just carrying 2 people.
True.
Not having to pull the weight of, or, you know, like 4 people.
And a stagecoach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, just...
True.
It is...
Unhook them and let them go.
So, I guess, yeah, I even wrote, I suppose not being in the open is safer.
Yeah.
I don't... Anyway, so back inside the saloon, Hank kind of comes to asking Sarah for a drink of whiskey because he thinks his arm is broken now.
Oh.
And she tells him to fuck off, basically, and he replies that he saved her life. And she says that he and his brother would have had their way with her right out here on this dirty floor and then killed everyone while laughing about it. And he was like, so? Like, just kind of
Get me a drink.
So, yeah. So she grabs a knife and brings it right up to his throat and stuff. And she's like, I could kill you right now, kind of a thing. And he starts smirking, saying that he just figured her out. And she's like, excuse me, what are you talking about? And he's like, a normal sweet girl would be terrified of the idea of of killing a man, but not a brothel girl. And she was like, excuse me? And he was like, yeah, no, a brothel girl knows how to use a knife. And so he was like, how do you think your sweet little newlywed husband would like to hear that you're a prostitute? And she very clearly seems shook by that, which I guess means she is one.
Yeah.
So I
mean, he's only known her for 3 days.
3 weeks.
No. 3 days.
3 days, yep.
I said what I said.
But she was like, I'm the wife of a marshal and stuff. Do you really think that he would marry a common whore? And he's like, sure, if you pretended to be a sweet young virgin from a good family. So she slaps him and she holds the knife up to his balls. Oof. And she's like, if you say anything to my husband, I will cut off your fucking balls and fry them in bacon fat. And he goes, I think you would.
Because you're a brothel girl.
Yeah. So the others walk in right then, and they start gathering up their things. And Marie's like, he bothering you? She's like, no, he's not anymore. And so Hank kind of keeps his mouth shut. And Hank says to Calhoun that if he lets him go, he'll tell him where he hid the money, and they can split it 50-50. And Calhoun tells him basically to fuck off. That's when they hear the horses neighing outside. So they go running off outside, and they see the horses and the stagecoach riding off. And Jake is like, I could have sworn I put the brake on. And Calhoun goes, you did. I checked it.
Oh, good.
So, obviously, the wolf is just, like, letting the horses go. He's like, ha-ha.
Well, how much is a brake on the thing going to do against, what, 4 horses? 2 horses?
I can't remember.
A lot of power.
Yeah.
Like, is it really going to not be able to pull?
I don't know.
Okay.
Even then, they would still be dragging it. It's just mud. Like, it's not...
True.
Yeah. It'd be going, right? Yeah. And they look over and they see that the other horses that they had switched out that were in the stable are now gone too, right?
Oh, good.
And they're like, fuck. Like,
see?
damn.
This skinwalker is intelligent and knows what the fuck he's doing.
So you should have gotten on the fucking horses and gone.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care. Just go.
Yeah.
Like, anyway.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
Is it?
I'm upset. Anyway, so the horses are all gone. Clearly, the skinwalker let him loose. They go back inside and they decide that they're going to need more lamps and oil. But they saw the lamps and the oil in the stable that they were in just a little bit ago. But now, obviously, the wolf is wandering around. So they got to be extra careful about it. Okay.
Yeah.
So Calhoun and Jake head out to go find the lanterns, and they're watching each other's back as they go. And Jake kind of wants to know what their chances are. And Calhoun thinks that they can survive if they can hold off until the next stagecoach arrives tomorrow. And Jake goes, they better pray it's not delayed. And Calhoun asks if he's a religious man. Jake says that he's been known to go to church.
Okay.
Calhoun says, if anything happens to me, will you say a prayer over my grave? Jake's like, anyone in particular? I thought this was just a little funny because he's like, shortest one you can find. I get bored really easily. And that's when they find a lamp. They see one lamp right there, and so they light it up, and they're using that to like guide their way into the stable. And Calhoun hands over the priest's little teeny tiny Bible, right? It's just a little it's a little pocket Bible, right? Okay. I don't know why. He just did.
Okay.
So, yeah. So they head across the street into the stable, and they start lighting some other lanterns. Jake turns around, and he sees that one of the horses came back. He's like, haha, there's your donkey. Like, I don't know why it's not a donkey. Okay. So I don't know if it was the donkey joke from earlier, if it was a joke that I missed. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, he turns right back around, and there's the wolf, okay? And this is the first time we actually get to see its face, okay? And I don't know if you've ever seen A Never-Ending Story.
Yes.
Okay. The wolf, the servant of the nothing, looks better than this thing.
Oh, okay.
This thing's face was horrifying in a bad way.
Okay.
Like, it was just...
In a B-movie way.
In a B-movie way, yep. And it jumps at him, knocks him down. Calhoun fires at it a few times. The beast turns and knocks the gun out of his hand. So Calhoun grabs a pitchfork and starts stabbing at him, right? So that Jake can get up. Suddenly, Sarah and Marie are standing there at the door because what do they have to be afraid of? It's right there. Yeah. That's
what are you
fine.
gonna do?
Exactly. And Sarah throws her lantern at it, lighting it on fire while Marie just starts firing, okay? The thing obviously takes off because I would too.
Yeah.
And everyone starts, they just all start, bang, 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 bang. Like, just everyone pulls out their guns and start firing.
What else are you going to do? I get it. But, like, you saw that didn't do shit.
Right?
So, like, why waste your ammo?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Excuse your big-ass truck, small penis, man.
So Jake and Sarah embrace, and Marie and Calhoun kind of give them a moment. I don't know why. Anyway, they're just like, oh, you better show me this little town we're going to. Just,
you better make it.
We're going to. Okay. Anyway. Jake promises Sarah that he's going to get her out of here and stuff. Just, yep.
Okay.
So they gather up lanterns, head back to the saloon. Hank says he's surprised to see them all in one piece. Marie cleans Jake's wound because he got slashed a little bit. I'm sitting here the whole time, too, wondering, like, is this... If you get bit by a skinwalker, do you become a skinwalker too? Is that the kind of werewolf you thought? That's right, because I'm like, because if we're not talking werewolf, we're talking skinwalker. That wouldn't be like they wouldn't have to worry about that.
There's a whole different process of becoming a skinwalker. Yeah,
exactly. So I was sitting here like they're clearly not worried about any kind of injury, other than like I'm hurt.
Transformation.
Exactly. And I was like, I was really hoping that nobody would transform, and nobody else does. So like,
good.
Yeah. Calhoun decides to take first watch. A little bit later, Jake joins him after a bit, and they're chatting, just like. And you can just see they're becoming friends, and I love it. And I love it. It's cute. Talking about why they're even here on the stagecoach in the first place, and yada yada. And then they hear howling in the distance, and they cock their guns. Jake says the beast is coming in for the kill, and I'm like, that's what it's been doing this whole fucking time.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Like
again,
yeah. And like that's what the next like 5 movies need to be called. Coming in for the kill again. Like just
the sequel.
So Calhoun comments, okay, let's load up the guns. We need to get everything ready, blah, blah, blah. And Marie goes to hand him something. And that's when he grabs her hand and realizes that her rings are silver. So he was like, give me your rings. And he starts loading up her rings in a shotgun shell. Because I was like, how would that work? But then again, if you're having something shot at you at rapid speed, it's going to do something to you. It'll impale you, right?
I was like, are they going to go to a blacksmith and like melt it down? Or what do you...
I know, I was like, how are we doing this? Because I'm like, silver does have a slightly lowish melting point.
Yeah, it's pretty soft.
Yeah.
But still.
But do you have time to cast a bullet? Like, just, I don't know.
I don't think so.
So also, like, if you're casting like a bullet, I don't know if you have enough silver to cast a bullet. Like,
it'd be like a nub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Okay. I mean, I don't know how much silver it actually takes to take down a werewolf, but apparently it's the shotgun shell full. Anyway, so they load it into the shotgun shells. He tells them that they have to hit it in the heart. And Hank says, if that works, I'll eat my own head. And Marie replies, if it doesn't work, the skinwalker will eat it for him. And I was like, get him, queen. Fucking
yes,
get him,
Marie.
queen. Yes. Anyway. Sarah asks how he's gonna get a clean shot, and Calhoun looks at Hank and says he's gonna be our bait. So they shove Hank outside, and he's very clearly hurt. He's been knocked in the head a few times. He's stumbling around. He's like holding his arm that's injured and stuff. And
they didn't keep him tied up?
No, they let him out there. And I was like, why would he go along with this? I would just like chill and be like, are you gonna shoot me? Because I don't want to die from the werewolf.
Yeah.
But Calhoun takes a pistol and he tosses it out into the street. So clearly he's giving him some kind of a fighting chance, right?
Okay.
So Hank goes after it, but he's stumbling. He's not doing well, right? And he's so injured, in fact, that he can barely even like pick up the pistol. And obviously that's, of course, when the wolf comes out and rushes at him. And he slices at Hank while Calhoun tries to fire. But the first shot doesn't go off. So he tries the second shot. That one also doesn't go off. So clearly he loaded the guns wrong or something. Something happened. It just misfired the whole time.
Good.
The beast then turns to him, attacks him, knocks him down. Jake comes running outside to fire at him a couple of times, but the beast knocks him to the side. And then walks into the saloon, just swaggers on in there, right? Marie and Sarah just start firing rifle shot after rifle shot after rifle shot until it gets close enough that it throws Sarah against a pillar, and she's just kind of dazed for a second. And it grabs Marie, like, by the back of the neck, and it's holding her like this, kind of a thing, okay? And I was like, all right. Marie pulls out her little pea shooter, okay? Holds it up at him.
Don't. Okay.
But she knows it's not going to do anything. So she puts it to her own temple.
Okay.
And fires. Okay?
Wait, she only had one bullet.
That is what I said.
But wait!
So she goes down. Sarah gives this little, like, smirk. Okay? And I was like, okay. Marie's fine.
Okay.
Marie's fine. Marie's going to get back up. Okay. So the wolf turns to Sarah now, and she's like, oh, shit, no. And he grabs her, and he drags her outside.
Okay.
She's kicking and screaming. She sees Jake laying on the ground. She's trying to grab at him, but he's clearly unconscious, okay? And he takes her to a different, like, porch. Just there. Leaves her there, okay? Standing in the road and, like, flings out his hand, like, the claws and stuff. And it's like, hey,
Freddy
right?
Krueger.
Right? That was like, okay.
Okay. Are you ready for this? I don't know.
Suddenly, literally riding on the stagecoach, standing and holding the reins, here comes the marshal.
Okay.
From Lassiter. Mm-hmm. And the horses run the beast over. Okay, they run into the skinwalker, and he hops down like it's nothing. The skinwalker's like, just gets up and runs away, and he comes over to Sarah, and he's like, you all right? Like, just like he didn't just see that happen.
Okay.
And she's like, yeah. And so she runs over, and she starts checking on Jake and stuff, and he goes over and checks on Hank, and is like, Hank's dead. And she's like, he's like, is Jake okay? And she's like, I think he's breathing. And so he goes and checks on Calhoun, and he says, this man's dead. And I was like, what? What?
Give us that.
I'm on the, like, I see all of this going on, okay? Marie shoots herself. Calhoun's dead. I'm on the floor. I'm screaming. I'm throwing up. I'm crying. I'm having a complete come apart.
Work? Please tell me
No,
this is
I finished it here, but the first, like, couple of, like, breaks I took it, I watched it at work. Anyway, so they're like just, you know, and I'm over here. I'm thinking, okay, Marie faked her death, okay, so that she could come out and grab the rifle and she'd be the one to shoot the wolf.
Right,
okay?
attack from behind.
Something.
Yeah. She's fucking dead?
She's fucking dead.
No! She had one bullet.
One bullet.
She said so.
And I'm sitting here. Okay. No. Okay, no.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Let me show you.
I was just thinking maybe she lied about the one bullet so that she could be like, that's it. That's in my back pocket. It's a secret.
Why would she lie to him about that?
I don't know.
Right?
I don't know.
Okay, this thing. So it's about that size. Okay? You're telling me that out of all of the regular size pistols that they have, rifles and all that shit, they had a bullet small enough to go into that? That she decided to refill her one shot in?
Yeah, no. And it only holds one shot?
That's what it looks like. I am livid.
Yeah.
I immediately hated this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, nope, I'm done. But then I was still kind of like trying to hold out hope. I was like, this, because Sarah smiled.
Yeah. Why are you smirking?
Why would you smirk?
Maybe she was like, dumb bitch.
Right. But I was like, but I'm sitting here, Marie, this fucking queen, this woman who doesn't seem to give up.
Yeah. Just kill
Pusses
herself?
out?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. That's stupid.
And I'm sure other people would be like, that's the brave thing to do. I wouldn't want to get torn apart. Fucking let's fucking go.
Yeah, at least shoot him.
Shoot him.
Like, what?
Something.
Yeah.
Anything else. Anyway. So they're talking about how Calhoun's dead and stuff. And the marshal's like, okay, well, we're going to have to figure out how to fucking kill that thing. Well, Calhoun sits up.
Yeah, because he's not dead.
Because he's not dead. And he's like, don't count me out just yet. And I was like, why would they have even had the scene of him saying that he was dead?
Yeah.
Like, why would they have thrown that in there?
To shock you.
I guess.
Obviously.
But, like, it wasn't even... Literally, the marshal was just like, this man's dead. And Sarah was like, oh. Like... And then Calhoun
cares
sits up,
a lot about these people.
Right? Well, Jake sits up and he was like, oh, Calhoun, but that gun right there has silver rings in it. And we're going to shoot the wolf. And then Calhoun sits up and is like, I'm not dead yet. It would have been so much better if they had thought he was dead and it was just the three of them for a few more minutes thinking that it's just going to be them.
And then he comes to.
And then he comes something.
Yeah.
Or Marie comes out. I'm livid.
The redemption is not there.
It's not there. And then I had this little thought later. I'll talk about it later though. Okay.
Can I say what I thought you were going to say about Marie?
What's that?
I thought you were going to say that the skinwalker was her husband.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he grabbed her like that, and then she
it was very behind the neck.
Like he was going to fucking kiss her or something.
I
was like, what are you saying?
I know.
And then you said that she, like, paused, and I was like, what is
happening
happening
I was like,
here?
what? Like, just, nope.
Okay, I was like, maybe he was Native American, and they didn't say that, and then he died, and then he became a skinwalker, and then... Or however they become skinwalkers, I don't know.
So much
Let's write a movie!
But I'm sitting here and I'm livid that, like, this skinwalker was clearly, like, gonna kill her and then what? Drag Sarah still out into the, like...
And just leave her?
And leave her to, like, kill her on a different porch?
Yeah.
Like, I just... What they should have done is Sarah should have run from the wolf, and then he chased after her, and then could have had the stagecoach run it over then. Like, I don't understand why it had to drag her out. Because at that point, I'm just like, what is happening, and why does everyone want to bang Sarah?
Yeah.
Like...
I mean, was she hot?
Marie was hotter. Marie was a fucking
she was a real
gorgeous
woman.
ass queen. Just everything about her. Like, Kate Beckinsale almost step aside for me. This woman was gorgeous.
Wow.
Okay? I mean, she kind of looked like Kate Beckinsale. So, like, there's that. But, like, for any of you that don't know, Kate Beckinsale is my one.
Now I need to look up.
Kate Beckinsale, if you hear me, I love you.
If she is listening to this podcast, oh my god.
She's out of nowhere just like, I'm going to listen to this random Western
sounds like a good one.
Yep.
Oh yeah, she's pretty.
She's gorgeous.
She could get it.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Well, that's Kate Beckinsale. But yeah.
Yeah, that's who I was looking at.
Oh, okay. Well, I will show you Marie here in a little bit. Anyway, so Calhoun is like, I am not dead yet, blah, blah, blah. He takes the shotgun back and he checks the bullets, hearing that Marie is dead. He is pissed now because he's like checking them and stuff because obviously he thinks he loaded them wrong or whatever. And Sarah's like, Marie's dead. And he and just starts walking down the road.
Motherfucker.
And I was like, get him, Calhoun. Get him, Calhoun.
Avenge a woman.
Yeah, he was obviously very livid. Well, we look up and we see that the skinwalker is standing on a roof, okay? And is like looking down at him all ominously. And he, boom, and like shoots him right in the chest, square in the chest. This thing falls down, hits the ground. And he walks over and just keeps staring at it for a second because obviously Black Deer says that a silver bullet can't kill it. It's just gonna stop it for a while.
Right.
And that's when the marshal comes up and he goes, oh, I've got white ash and stuff. And Calhoun's like, oh, you came prepared, and takes it from him and he sprinkles it over over the skinwalker. Mm-hmm. And
that's the only purpose this man served.
I guess, yeah. And anyway, and the wolf just like turns back into a dude. Just a dead dude. He's just this dead Native American guy. I thought for half a moment that it was gonna be the Native American that Black Deer got in a fight with. Yeah, but then I was like, but how could he have done that if he had killed Charlie last night? Yeah. That was 40 miles from here, and that like, I mean, it's a long way to run for no reason. Like, just like no
one's running marathons for no reason. Okay,
right? So they kill it. They kind of take a moment to just gather themselves and just like, oh, it's finally dead and stuff, right? And they're walking away. Jake and Sarah just like, it's over. It's finally over, I guess. And Calhoun is telling the marshal about the Norton brothers. He was like, one's dead inside. That's what's left of that one, kind of a thing. And he was like, well, you'll get your reward for them. And he goes, no, Marie inside was responsible for killing one of them. Any reward that I want is to be paid for her to have a proper burial. Aww. And I was like, Calhoun, cute. Marie. Like, I was livid. I was so upset. I was like, if anyone was gonna die, it should have been
crying.
Sarah.
I was screaming. I was vomiting.
I was on, like, no joke. Like, when she first, like, I have my dog sleeping next to me. I'm just watching away. I'm like, I'm enjoying this. I'm sitting here having a good time. And she takes the gun and she puts it to her head and fires. And I hear the bang, okay? Yeah. And she drops. And I was like, oh! Like, I straight up made that noise. Scared the shit out of my dogs. And then I thought, she only had one bullet. She's fine. Sarah just smiled. She's fine.
Yeah. Nope.
She's not fine. I was so upset.
I love how invested.
I was devastated in that moment, right? Anyway, so there's a little bit more.
Okay.
So they agree, or like the marshal's like, absolutely, she'll have the finest, funeral we can get her, kind of a thing, And they also offer him a position as another deputy down in Lassiter, right? And they were like, yeah, it pays $20 a month, and the marshal's like, hell, I'll pay you $30. Like, just,
wow.
Which is probably more than what he makes, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
He declines, saying that that he's going to Santa Clara because the sheriffs down there have a job for him. And Jake's like, what kind of job are you doing for some sheriffs down in Santa Clara, right? Mm-hmm. And why is he going... Anyway. It just seems like a weird direction to go to Santa Clara. Anyway.
Yeah.
Calhoun goes, oh, they've got a job for me hunting some big red-eyed demon with 6-inch claws, bat wings, and a bad attitude. And I was like, are you Van Helsing?
Right? Like,
Who
what
are you?
is this? What is happening?
I couldn't
is
tell
this
if he
setting up
was
a sequel?
right. I couldn't tell if he was joking. I couldn't tell if that's exactly what
Like,
he
this
was
is
saying.
an episode of Supernatural,
Right?
at this
Like,
point.
what's going on? But he straight up tells Sarah and Jake to let him know when they've got kids and stuff, because he'll come by and say hi. And I was like, friends forever. Like,
I mean, that's bonding time right there.
Exactly. I'm like, if you are not permanent friends after moments like this, you're wrong.
Yeah.
So they both kind of smirk at him, and they go to go back inside, and Jake asks him one more time, where are you even from? And because he says this like 2 other times in the movie, I'd tell you, but you wouldn't know where it is, right?
You never heard of it.
Yeah. We hear more howling in the forest as we see Black Deer, back to normal, huddled against a tree, just like clinging to herself as she can hear the howls of the forest and stuff. And that's it. The end of the movie.
What?
I'm pretty sure they were trying to set up a sequel.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, but there's no sequel.
Honestly, I mean,
I would watch it.
Yeah.
I
Calhoun
would.
fighting off all of these mysterious animals.
Right? I would have a good fucking time watching that. But I also hate it now. Like, I was so upset. I didn't even care about the rest of the movie. I was like, kill everyone else. Movie. I was like, another fucking, like, skinwalker come to town, please. Thank you. Like,
take care of the rest of them.
Marie gave everything for everyone.
She was a good one.
And she dies. I was livid. Jake should have died. It should have been Jake or Sarah. Because who's to say that Calhoun and Marie would even stay together? They'd probably just have, like, a fling and then be done.
Yeah.
Like, because she's still obviously pining over her dead husband, and he's clearly a man who needs to stay on the road.
He's a mystery, and he's a wanderer, and... Okay.
And just come back to visit Marie whenever, just, you know.
Yeah. Okay, but actually, what was the point of the sheriff marshal dude and Black Deer?
I guess they were just trying to hunt down the Norton brothers, and they needed to bring the white ash over to them.
But why couldn't one of them just have white ash?
I don't know. I want to know, if Calhoun knows all this shit, why doesn't he have all this shit?
That's what I'm saying.
Why isn't he running around with silver daggers and silver bullets and, like...
Just have something silver on you at all times. That's what I'm saying. Like, why did they need to have... Or, like, why did it need to be, like, this whole other town? I guess they had to travel. Mm-hmm. But they could just... I don't know. It just seems weird. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Okay. The whole Black Deer storyline just seems
It was just
random.
nonsense. Yeah, it was absolute nonsense. And I'm, like, 1,000% certain that they were trying to set up some kind of a sequel there. But, like... Straight up, I have my notes here. I said the end of this fucking movie that I fucking watched and that fucking killed Marie. Never forget, never forgive. So,
never forget, never forgive.
Right there. I only say that about 2 things, and this is the second thing now.
That's a lot of exclamation points.
It's a lot. I was livid, yeah.
Okay, so what are your scores then?
Okay, it was actually filmed really well, besides the dumb, like, filter that they tried to put over it.
Yeah.
So I give that, honestly, an 8.
Wow.
Like, I felt like it was a pretty decently, like, produced movie. The costumes were really good. Everyone's acting was just fantastic. Like, or most everyone's acting was fantastic. I had a good time. Like, I was enjoying it.
Yeah,
I was truly having fun. Yeah, I am livid. Like, I'm sitting here, I was so upset. I literally almost cried when Marie died. I was so upset. But I'm just like, why would they give us little comments of, like, I only had the 1 bullet?
Yeah.
Because if she hadn't have said that, I would have absolutely
wouldn't
been
even think about it.
I can't believe she killed herself. Oh my gosh. Like,
that's dumb.
I never would have thought for a second to have hope that she would be alive still.
No.
Why did Sarah smirk like that?
Yeah.
She's a fucking sociopath, I think.
Guess.
Since I think Sarah should have died.
She's like, dumb bitch.
Why did the skinwalker drag her? So, like, really, honestly, the worst thing about this movie was the writing.
Yeah.
So I was enjoying the plot for the most part. Black Deer and that all aside were just kind of meh.
Yeah.
Like, they were the ones giving the explanation of what the wolf was, or, like, the skinwalker was. So that's
where
like
we could have been a way to do that with, like, keeping it in the same group.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just don't know why there had to be the back and forth.
I don't know.
Calhoun
seemed to know what he was doing.
That's
so, like,
what
why?
I'm saying.
Yeah.
He can give me exposition all day.
He should have been the one having this, like, arsenal of shit. And I would have even been okay with, like, when the Norton brothers showed up and they were, like, taking all of their shit from them and everything and just, like, opening a bag and be like, silver bullets kind of, and, like, toss them out or something. Just, like, what do you need these shit, like, this shit for kind of a thing. Like,
oh, you believe in that superstitious bullshit?
Yeah.
Kinda,
something. Like, just
something.
Anything else. Just to the point that he, like, they still would have maybe needed to use Marie's rings because he wouldn't be able to get to the bullets or something. Like, just, you're telling me this man knows all this shit. But he doesn't have any of this shit.
Yeah, he's not prepared.
He's not prepared at all.
No.
He's just...
He has knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. They lucked out that Marie had those rings.
Yeah. Otherwise
Super
they'd
lucked
be
out.
fucked.
Because Sarah's ring was gold.
Yeah.
So...
And then Mr. Marshall shows up with no bullets.
Yeah.
So they would have been double fucked.
Yep.
Yeah, because some idiot blasted it off into the air. Fucking dumbass.
Son of a bitch, right? I would have even been okay with, like, him having only 2 bullets, and he fired one at Black Deer, but then he saved the other one because he just couldn't shoot her.
Right.
And that was the bullet that they used to, like, fire at the wolf or something.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
yeah.
And then you were like, and then he shot them into the air.
Yep.
And I was like,
there is a way to subvert my expectations, and that is not it.
no.
Like,
No.
no.
No. Okay,
So-
okay, so you did acting, you did production. Story.
Oh, the story I actually really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I was enjoying it. Again, there were a couple of things that I was like, I don't understand this. Why did they have to do that? Like, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I still don't understand why Marie had to die.
Yeah.
Like,
Why?
why she thought I need to take myself out.
And why wouldn't he still have just eaten her liver?
Exactly.
Yeah. Why not?
See, I would have thought that if she had killed herself and he would have been like, well, I'll eat her liver, and Sarah flees while that's happening,
Or
and then
attack
he comes
him,
after her, something,
yeah.
you know, like something, anything
Anything else.
But I would have even been okay with, like, him starting to attack Marie, and Sarah shoots her in the heart to stop her from, like, feeling it. Like, I'd have been okay with that.
Yeah.
You know? Because, like, that's what I would do. I would totally take one, you know, like, because obviously my bullets aren't doing shit to him, so I might as well stop you from feeling it.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
if he's gonna eat you, I'll help. You know, like, I'll help you not feel it. Like, just kind of a thing. You know? Anything. But her taking herself out. I did not believe that for a second.
Yep.
Until they said that she was actually dead.
Yeah.
And I was like...
I'm still holding out hope, though.
But I don't understand how they would have had... I don't know. Maybe I need to look it up. I'm not a gun nut. I don't think Zach would know either. He knows a lot about guns, but I don't think he would know about 1887 lady hand pistols. Like, it's very unbelievable to me that she would have found another bullet that would have fit if she said
Unless
she only had the one.
Like, only loaded with one, but then she had another.
But she should have said it. Like, I mean, if they were going to say something like that,
Yeah. Why bring it up if you're not gonna...
But also, why only travel with one bullet? So, like...
Yeah, true.
But at the same time, she didn't say anything about, like, having more. They didn't show her reloading it or something.
Like pulling it out of her bustle or something.
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't do nothing about that. So I was immediately just like, I had to rewind it to make sure I actually heard a shot. Because I thought maybe if she just, like, had the click. Or I would have, like, even just, like... kind of a thing.
Or if
and
it was
then
like
gone down.
the blank shot kind of thing. Yeah.
The blank shot. Something.
Yeah.
And then pretend to go down. Because at that point, the wolf would have been like, oh, well, she's dead. So either I eat her... or I move on to kill this one who's right here too. Like, kind of a thing. And take that opportunity to then crack it over the head and be like, run, Sarah, run. Like, let's go. Something. Yeah. Something. Anything else. Like,
yeah.
I'm so upset about that. I
can feel it. It's radiating.
But the CGI that they did, like, they didn't have a ton of CGI. The only thing is that fucking sun was there. So that was so fucking stupid. It really felt like there was 2 different people directing the movie at times. Like, to me, it felt like there's this one person who's like, oh, yes, it's a cheesy B movie. And there's this other person who's like, I want this to be a good movie. We're
taking this serious.
Like, yeah, so, like,
okay,
whoever was taking it seriously, good on you, because
the other guy ripped this person in half, and it's stupid.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I was like, there's just these unbelievable moments like that. But the Charlie, when he died at the beginning, got his throat slashed, right? Like 2 claws go across, okay? And it's just, like, it's good. It was, like, believable blood. I was like, ooh, that was really good. I had high hopes for a moment. And then I heard them talk, and I thought, this isn't a very good movie.
Never mind.
And then I enjoyed it. And then I didn't enjoy it. So, like, my emotions...
What a roller coaster.
We're all over the place. I haven't been this invested. Like, even Derailed, I was enjoying it, but I didn't care about the characters.
Yeah.
I cared about Eugene. I didn't care about anybody else.
Yeah.
And then Eugene died. Like, it was stupid. Anyway, but I'm just upset about Marie. Okay, what else is there? So the werewolf, everything else about him looked really good, other than his face. Okay. It was so hokey, Halloween masky, like, just, it was not good. It really wasn't very good. They did a bad job on him.
They just should never, like, have showed him up close.
Exactly, yeah. They did have the moment where he was standing on the roof and they shot him and he went down, and that was a little CGI dumb. But at the same time, I'm like, if we're talking budget-wise, it was decently done.
Yeah.
it's fine. But the costumes were spot on. Everyone looked great. Like, it just...
Yeah, that one picture you sent me looked really good.
They looked really good. Like, it was pretty well done. Like,
nice.
And what else am I missing?
I think that might be it, except for, like, your overall, because there's story, there's acting.
My overall score, I honestly would give this a 6 out of 10.
Nice.
If they had someone who was writing their dialogue a little better, I would have really enjoyed the movie.
Nice.
And then if they didn't kill Marie. But, like, I'm also a person that I understand you have to kill off some people because, like, you can't just have, like, the main cast be the alive ones always.
We all did it and we're all fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but come on.
That
was stupid.
It was a stupid way for her to die.
The way you did it was stupid.
The way for her to puss out like that.
And to mention the bullet and then to have the bullet and then to not have the bullet.
Don't give me this fucking red herring that you only have the one.
Yeah.
And then refill it somehow.
Yeah.
Like, I just...
That's just a plot hole.
If there, I don't know, maybe I need to check and see if there's deleted scenes or something like that. I didn't because I was upset.
That's fine.
So, like...
That's fine. You can grieve.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I was pretty upset. Like, I had to go watch anime to make myself feel better. Like, I was... So there's my movie that I watched.
I wonder why it's in the dollar store then.
I don't know. It was, 2014, so it was just an older movie.
Yeah.
But I would tell everyone to watch it. It's a good ride.
I would get the $5 bin, but like the dollar store.
Yeah.
Seems a little low.
But
yeah, like recommend it?
I would definitely recommend it. Like, just go in. Don't love Marie. It's just
you can't help it, but don't do it.
Yeah. But honestly, I would tell you and Tony to watch it because I think you guys would have a good time with it. So
Sweet.
If you want to take it home, you're welcome to. It's just
Nice.
I had a good time. So I mean, you know it, so
yeah,
you know the
I know
plot.
how it ends,
but
so
like, it's still a good ride.
I can watch Tony watch it though.
Yes,
unless he hears this first.
But
okay. Well, fun. I enjoyed the roller coaster from over here of my first werewolf western.
Mm-hmm. But I just like fucking Marie with her whole. Sometimes you gotta entertain the boys. Sometimes you gotta surprise them. And I was like, "Go, Queen!" Yeah, like.
Oh, and like, was Sarah a brothel lady?
Was she? Yeah. Why did that
matter at all?
No, I don't know.
No,
I think it was just to fill the time and stuff.
We don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you do it?
And or was it to explain that she actually did know how to fire a gun and that like or something? Because like if
I
they
get
had
that, like there's like prissy little ladies back then, but like also I feel like you need to like know how to defend yourself.
Yeah, if you're a Western girl, you should know how to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But like if they had a moment where she fired a gun and Jake was like, I didn't know you could shoot. And she was just like, oh, my daddy taught me. So, like, if she just seemed like she was more sketchy, I would have been like, ooh, why is she sketchy?
Yeah.
Like.
But then they would have led up to nothing at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's like,
why did Black Deer run off into the woods? Why did, like, that just, I almost wanted showdown with Black Deer and this other skinwalker.
I thought she was going to show up and not just in the trees. Who cares?
Which, I mean, I would be terrified in the trees by myself alone as well.
How did she get here?
I don't know.
40 miles. She just been following Marshall
I don't know.
Man?
She's just randomly in the trees out.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even see her, though. She's just out there. They don't see her.
Why?
She's just there.
Why
I don't
are you
know.
here? How are you transformed back?
I don't
Can
know.
you control that? Because it didn't seem like you could control it before.
Exactly. Also, how many other skinwalkers are running around in these woods, and should we still be worried? Like,
why doesn't everybody have silver
Yeah.
on them? Hello.
Exactly. Clearly, there's enough of them that they're running rampant.
This is a problem.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but there was another thing I wanted to say about Calhoun when they said that he was dead and stuff, and then he just sits up and he's like, don't count me out yet, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe because they were talking about how he was the preacher that sold his soul to the devil, and like now he's the fastest gun in the West, and I was like, maybe he did kill he did sell his soul, kind of a thing, and is trying to like earn his like redemption back into heaven, kind of a thing. And so God, I'm over here being like, I would, if I was God, I'd be like, hey, you just sold your soul to the devil. If you want to get back up in heaven,
do all this shit.
You got to do all this shit.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna let you die until you do it.
Oh.
So like, that's what I would do.
So like,
if can't die. If I was this divine deity, I would be like, you have to keep coming back, and you have to keep
his soul is the devil's, so maybe.
Yep. Maybe
the
it's
devil
the devil
is also
telling you.
like, you're not done, buddy.
But if it's the devil being like, oh, but you need to kill all these fucking monsters, I would be like, you need to be protecting these monsters because clearly I have some kind of cahoots with them. Like, just if they're evil, I'm evil. Just
Maybe, yeah. I guess that's true.
Yeah, but that's what I would do if I was a deity. I would just be like, hold on, you just sold your soul to somebody else. If you want to take it back into heaven, like
earn it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Protect
and you gotta go do all this shit. Yeah, that is exactly what I would do.
This should have been a series. Mm-hmm. Of him like going around supernaturally.
Oh yeah, if they made a TV show just called Calhoun, I would be there for it.
Yes. Yes.
I would be so there for it.
He could be winking at all the ladies in every episode. And you're like, oh, Calhoun.
Oh, Calhoun.
Yeah.
But he still just pines for Marie. Just like, like something. Just anything. Give me anything. More than this. Like, yep. But I had a good time.
Good. Let us know if you guys have seen this one. If not, check out your local dollar store. It might be on Tubi. Who knows?
I didn't check. So,
okay. So it might be. Everything is.
Yep.
Might as well.
Twilight is now.
I saw that. All of them. Every Twilight.
But it also was on their, like, leaving soon list, so I think it might be like they have it for a month. Yeah.
Okay. It's Twilight month.
Yeah.
So go check that out.
Yep.
Not that we're promoting Tubi because we're not paid by them at all.
Yeah, no, just...
Anyway.
Tubi's fun.
We love you guys. We're sorry?
Yeah. I'm upset.
We're sorry for ourselves. Have a great time.
Have a great time.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode. Let us know what you think by leaving a comment or sending us an email at bmoviebashpodcast@gmail.com.
You can listen to our episodes on all your favorite podcast platforms, including Spotify, Stitcher, Google, Apple, Amazon Music, and Audible, or you can find the video versions on our YouTube channel.
If you want to support the podcast, you can find our Ko-fi link on our Anchor page. Make sure to like, subscribe, and tell your friends.